Thank you guys for joining me. If you're on Facebook, let me get the Periscope feed up, and we are getting ready to go live. Got a great topic today. Yeah, so we're gonna get started. Getting ready to go. Thank you guys for joining me. Wrighster or wrong, unafraid. I'm George Wrighster. Thank you guys for joining me each and every day. Please share the feed, like the feed. The topic that we're going to talk about today immediately is CTE in football. So there was a study that came out. There was an article in the Washington Post. And, you know, now everybody's afraid. Everybody's going to have CTE. And it's a hot topic debate because you have people like some of the NFL owners saying CTE and head hits and all these things aren't a big deal, right? Which we know is a lie. Then you have some former players, some doctors and all that stuff that say, oh my God, if you play football, you're going to die. That's a lie as well. Then you have people like Jason Whitlock who say, candy does more harm to kids than playing football. The truth really lies somewhere between the middle. So the study says that 111 former NFL players that they had their brains studied after they died, and 110 of them were found to have CTE. And in total, Boston University School of Medicine, who is doing the who's doing a big study, they have 202 brains and found 177 of them, 87% had CTE. Here's the thing that we really have to keep into perspective, right? Is that the players who have died, the players who are deceased, they played in an era where football was different. Even I played when football is different than football is now. Would I let my son play football at this point in time where football is trending? Absolutely 100%. When he gets in high school, if he wants to play, then I'll let him play. Right now he plays flag. Because here's the thing. Back in the day, you used to be able to club people across the head. Nobody sat out for concussions. There was no mandatory anything. They practiced all day long. And everybody's afraid of the games. The games aren't what you need to be afraid of in football. Practice is what you need to be afraid of in football. Because granted, in the games, there are violent hits. There are violent collisions. I will 100% admit that. But you're looking at a total of, in the pros, 60, maybe 70 plays in a game. About half of the on offense and on defense. About 60, 70 plays on average. In practice, you have hundreds of reps. Before the new CBA and before things were changed, we would practice in pads. When I was in Jacksonville from 2003 to 2009. We would practice either in shells. Shells are shoulder pads and helmets and shorts. Mind you, that is actually a glorified, like, full padded practice. And then 2 days a week, we would practice in shells. One day we would practice in pads, and then we would have a walkthrough. That's a lot of hits on your head in terms of blocking, collisions, hitting people, all of that. So in reality, you take thousands of hits throughout the season in practice, and then you take a couple in the game. A couple in the game. So practice actually does more damage to people than games actually do. And now that this is such an emphasis, now that this is such a hot topic, things have been corrected in terms of practice. I do think that there needs to be even less contact in practice. No contact in practice in terms of full contact. Nope, not at all, because you don't need it. People will still watch football. People will still enjoy football. I know that the purists, that they'll say, oh, well, how can you learn how to tackle? They'll be upset with so many missed tackles and all these things. Well, if you still want to play the game, you got to give up something. Because I'll tell you, as a former player, it is a scary thing to wonder if you're next. When you make a couple bad choices, if you do some things, if your body starts to feel funny, if you are going to be okay. Because I'll tell you a story. One day, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I woke up terrified because I was having like some tingling in my hands for like a couple days, and I had literally just gone to an ALS fundraiser, and I was like, oh my God, I'm scared if I have ALS. Literally in the middle of the night, I woke up and was terrified about this. This is just part of the life. This is part of it. And I don't think that I would feel the same way if I were a rookie coming in the NFL right now. I don't think that I would be as concerned if I were a rookie coming in the NFL today as if I were a rookie coming in 1960, 70, 80, because these are the, in 50s and 60s, because these are the guys' brains who are being examined. The majority of the guys are whose brains are examined well over 50 years old, which the game has tremendously changed. So I know I'm sounding like I'm advocating for football and all this, and in some sort of way I kind of am, because I love football. I love the opportunities it has afforded me. I love the things that it has taught me personally and made me strong, tough, learn how to work hard, desire to win, all of these things. Football has given me those things. Learn how to work when it's hot, when it's tough, all these things. Am I hurting now? Yeah. Are there some things wrong now? Yeah. But the most important thing is that the game is changing and that it is getting safer. So, question to you guys. Do you let your kid play football? Do you let him play? Because there's a well-known player who talked to me about my son playing football. He's on TV, and he was known as a big, tough guy. He was rough and tumble, rough and tough. And he doesn't have sons. He has daughters. He says to me, he asked me, is my son playing football? My oldest son is 11. I said, yeah. He said, oh, what league is he playing in? I said, oh, we're playing flag football. What? You have your son playing flag football? Oh, man, you're going to teach him to be a pussy. I was like, no, actually not. Not at all. He's tough. Kid's tougher than most 11-year-olds his age, buddy. Then he said, well, why don't you let him play? I said, because, man, my kid, for me, doesn't need to be taking head hits while his brain is still being developed. Doesn't need to be taking those hits. I can teach him. He can learn the fundamentals. He can learn how to run, jump, pass, catch, all these things, avoid people without getting hit. Not even just for his brain, but for his body just in general. And now we hear John Urschel is retiring. You guys, make sure you guys share the feed if you're on right now. Share the feed where we can get in and join the conversation. John Urschel, the lineman for the Baltimore Ravens. I was privileged and had an opportunity to meet him this last year in Arizona at the Players Convention. And this dude is a math genius, super smart. Super smart. And he said he was having trouble doing his math visualizations. I mean, mind you, he's been published in papers, all these things. Certified genius. He decides to retire after this study comes out because he's afraid. And also he has seen some effects on his own life. He said it takes him a couple weeks after the season for his visualizations, the way he sees these numbers in the head, like we see on TV on Elementary or whatever the hell it is. That's the way he sees numbers and sees things out in the world. He said he has trouble or a couple weeks until he can see them again. This is why, if my son were to play football, if he were to play professional sports, my ideal scenario would be this. My ideal scenario would not be for him to be Tom Brady, would not be for him to be Peyton Manning, would not be for him to be Cam Newton or any of these guys. My ideal scenario is for my kid, is for him to know that sports is a job and it's a means to an end. That it's a means to an end. That go in, play well in college if you get a scholarship, then play out your first contract, say peace out. I'm out of here. Give yourself a head start in life. Don't let them know that that's what you're going to do, but then you go on and do it. You walk away 3-4 years, couple $100,000 saved, maybe a couple million if you were drafted high. That's what I would want for my kid. Then go off, start your actual career, because the NFL is a job. NFL is a job. Takes years off your life, takes years off your quality of life on the back end, and yes, you do sacrifice some of that for a very big paycheck. You do. That's a trade-off. But how much are you really willing to risk of your life? That's what I say. And the Boston University School of Medicine, they're collecting brains. And families who are concerned about potential CTE and really want answers about why a guy is how he is, how his personality changed and all this, they donate their brains. And it's natural that you are going to see a higher propensity of, or a higher occurrence in CTE of older guys. It's absolutely true. Helmet technology was poor. The rules were bad. All those things were happening. And let's not take the onus off the NFL, because the NFL knew these things. The NFL knew what was going on. Got a story for you. When I was in Jacksonville, I had a concussion. When we were playing in Buffalo, I fell down. I hit my head in the beginning of the game. I got on my knees. Somebody hit me from the back. I hit my head. I hit my head another time bad in the game. Then at the end of the game, I jumped up to catch a ball in the end zone, got knocked back, hit my head on the back, on the ground, on the turf. And I wasn't a player who jumped off sides very much throughout my career. Next play, I go in the huddle, come out. I knew the snap count, jumped off sides. So we move back 5 yards, go in the huddle up again. I jump off sides again. Turns out I had a bad concussion. I got sick when I was in the shower. They took me straight to the hospital after the game. And when I got back to the stadium the next day or the day after, the equipment manager, he told me to change my helmet. Not the trainers. The equipment manager said, "George, you need to change your helmet." Okay, why? Said, "How long have you been wearing this style of helmet?" It was like, since I was in high school. Mind you, I didn't buy this helmet. This is a helmet that was issued to me. I said, "This is the helmet that fits me. You, when we were coming in the season, you said, see which helmet fits you the best. We'll fit it to you, and that's what you'll wear." He said, "Do you drive a car for 10 years?" I said, "No, not typically." He said, "So why would you wear the same helmet?" And that's the part that really pissed me off. Because I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, hold up. I got fined $5,000 for wearing the wrong socks. And I don't get a chance to pick my helmet in terms of buy my own helmet. Because otherwise I would buy the optimal helmet that is going to protect my head the best. I had 3 or 4 options at the time. They just let me arbitrarily pick one that fit my head the best. Not what was going to protect my head the best, what was going to fit my head the best. And what I thought looked good on me. What kind of sense does that make? A league that controls your socks, fines people for tape on their, not showing enough white on their socks, wrong cleats, improper color, fines you thousands of dollars for hitting somebody low. But then they issue you a helmet that doesn't protect you. that doesn't protect you for the game that you're out there playing. What kind of dumb mess is that? That pissed me off to the highest levels of festivity. So that's why I would implore people to do your research. Don't give up on the game of football. And make sure that your coach, that your kid, if you do let him play, that you let him play for a coach who cares more about his health than he does winning games. It's hard to find coaches that do that. It's easier to find them in youth levels, I think, because when you get into college and the pros, too much money's on the line. People's actual jobs and livelihoods are on the line. So find a coach that cares more about your health than he does winning and losing. That's how you save the game of football. And continue to change the rules. Let there be no hitting in practice, and your game will be fine. Thank you guys for joining me today on Wrighster or Wrong. Please like the feed, share the feed, continue the conversation. Peace out.